When it comes to preserving the freshness and flavor of your groceries, proper food storage is key. While the refrigerator is a trusty ally in keeping some items fresh, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. In fact, certain foods fare better when stored outside the cold confines of your fridge. Join us as we unveil the top 12 foods you should never refrigerate, even if your instincts tell you otherwise. You're watching the InfoIndex, where learning never stops. Let's get started. 1. Bananas. For the finest banana experience, keep them at room temperature, especially if they need to ripen further. Once they start turning brown, it's time to act, whether that's making banana bread or freezing them for later use. Be cautious though, as bananas emit ethylene gas that can hasten the ripening of nearby fruits. 2. Tomatoes. Your plump, juicy tomatoes deserve better than a chilly fate in the refrigerator. The cold and humid environment inside the fridge can spell disaster for their texture. Instead, showcase them proudly on your kitchen counter, but remember to shield them from direct sunlight. Cherry tomatoes are an exception, as they can handle the fridge without turning mushy. 3. Coffee. Coffee is a beverage cherished by many, and to maintain its flavor, it must be shielded from humidity. Humidity can lead to molding and flavor degradation. Store your coffee beans in an airtight container, either on your countertop or in the pantry. Some argue for freezing coffee beans before grinding, but only if they are properly sealed in an airtight container. 4. Avocados. Refrigeration can slow down the ripening process of avocados. Unless you have an abundance that won't be used in a week, store them at room temperature. The cold also alters the texture of a ripe avocado, which may not suit everyone's taste. Once cut, seal open halves in a baggie or container in the fridge. 5. Onions. Onions, whether yellow, white, or sweet, thrive at room temperature, ideally in your pantry. Keep them away from direct sunlight and any lingering heat from your stovetop or oven. It's also wise to store onions separately from other produce to prevent them from imparting their pungent aroma. If an onion is partially used, seal the remainder in an airtight container in the fridge. 6. Potatoes. Potatoes have no business in the refrigerator. They prefer a cool, dry environment, making your pantry their ideal hideout. Consider storing them in a basket or paper bag to maintain their optimal texture. Cold temperatures can trigger unwanted starch changes, rendering them gritty or oddly sweet. 7. Oil. Oils such as olive oil, avocado oil, or vegetable oil should never see the inside of your refrigerator. Cold temperatures can cause these oils to thicken or solidify, which is far from ideal for cooking. Instead, safeguard them in a cool, dark place, away from any light exposure. 8. Bread. While the refrigerator may stave off mold growth, it robs bread of its moisture, leaving you with lackluster slices. Don't let your hard work on that homemade loaf go to waste. Instead, store bread in the freezer and thaw and toast as needed for the freshest results. 9. Melons. Store whole melons, like cantaloupes and honeydews, on your countertop. Even varieties that don't ripen further at room temperature become softer and juicier outside the fridge. If your melon emits a sweet aroma, it's ready to be enjoyed. Leftovers can be stored in an airtight container in the refrigerator. However, watermelons are best left on the counter, away from other produce. 10. Honey. Cold temperatures can prompt honey to crystallize more quickly than it would in a cool, dark pantry. Over time, crystallization is inevitable, but you can prolong the process by keeping honey in a cool, dark place. 11. Garlic. When it comes to garlic, it's best stored in the same cool, dark pantry environment as onions and potatoes. An unopened head of garlic can wait patiently in your pantry until you're ready to use it. Once sliced or minced, garlic can be stored in the fridge. 12. Peaches, plums, and nectarines. Hard as a rock, stone fruits are no one's idea of a tasty treat. Leave peaches, plums, and nectarines at room temperature until they soften and sweeten. To expedite the process, place them in a paper bag. Once ripe, you can refrigerate them if needed, but be aware that the dry air can lead to dehydration and wrinkling. Proper food storage is essential to preserve the freshness and flavor of your groceries. While the refrigerator is a valuable tool, it's not the best choice for every food item. By following these guidelines, you'll ensure that your fruits, vegetables, and pantry staples remain at their best, ready to elevate your culinary creations. Thank you for joining us on the InfoIndex. Feel free to share your personal thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on new learnings.